It's a weird territory with fans coming into the dental office because I've never been to WWE. I will never be a star. And they were like, hold up.
When you got injured back in 2020,
It's the best thing that ever happened.
could you teach me how to wear glove the D.M.D way?
Yes, I'll show you. I have to convince Tony Khan that I'm worth that much time again, huh?
We are here with Dr. Britt Baker, D.M.D. Welcome to Chicago.
Thank you. I love Chicago.
This is like your second home, right?
It really is. It's like absolutely my second wrestling home.
I feel like Chicago is such a special city for AEW, and you as the first female signee.
Of course, yes. Yeah, and this is where, of course, All In, the birthplace of AEW was.
Right, I want to talk about that. So it was 2018.
2018, yeah.
Yeah.
That seems like an eternity ago.
So when you were first invited to be in that match, the Fatal 4-Way match,
Yep.
what was going through your head?
So I didn't know. I was invited to be a part of the show first. I didn't know it was going to be a 4-way. I was actually in the parking lot. It was an indie show in California, and I was with the Bucks and Cody. And I had already expressed my interest. At that point, every indie wrestler ever had expressed their interest in wanting to be a part of All In because it was the coolest thing ever. It was indie wrestling was going to actually do an arena show.
Right.
That's unheard of.
Right.
Nobody thought it was going to happen. And then once we saw oh shit, this is going to happen, I wanted to be a part of that. And that's kind of when they were the Bucks were like, Britt, you're all in. That's it. And it was like, okay, cool. And then we got the info slowly about who else was going to be in it. And we kind of guessed because it would be oh, she's all in. And then there was 4 of us, and then it was a 4-way. And that was one of the most special nights of my life because it really changed my career forever.
Did you know it was going to turn into something big?
No.
I
hope. I mean, you always hope. You always hope that you're part of a spark for something. But I would have never guessed in a million years that there was a billionaire sitting in the crowd that was also a massive wrestling fan and had all these ties to mainstream TV and entertainment and was going to make a company and ask me to be his first female side. No, that wasn't in my bingo card.
Then 2019, All Out.
Yeah, it was just as special in its own way because it was the first of the first. And again, it was making history, and you only get one chance to make a first impression. So there was a lot of stress, a lot of pressure, and we were still in the unknown waters. We didn't know where this was going to go. We didn't have a TV deal yet, or if we did, we didn't know about it. Talent didn't know about it, and we kind of really were just no pun intended, all in on this thing called All Elite Wrestling. We're hey, I hope this works out because we're giving our all to this.
You are a dentist.
Yeah.
At first, I was like, what kind of wrestling character is a dentist?
I still get that to this day. Still.
Turns out you're actually a dentist.
Right.
So tell me about your journey as a dentist who's also a wrestler. So back in 2018-19, were you trying to be a full-time dentist? Yeah,
so it's actually when I started dental school, which was 2014. Okay. Yeah, 2014 is when I started training to also be a professional wrestler, and it was I was already accepted into dental school. I started training to be a wrestler just out of curiosity. Curiosity killed the cat, and I was not going to let it kill my dental career, and I just decided I was going to keep training and keep going to school and hope and pray that it worked out, and that's what happened. I kind of just took it day by day, one step at a time. You never have to worry about what's beyond yonder and infinity and beyond. Just the next step. That's all you have to take.
So are you still practicing?
Yeah. So I'm not full time anymore.
Okay.
It's impossible with a wrestling schedule. We have three TV days and pay-per-view loops and media days. It's not realistic. It's not fair to patients for me to have to be canceling and moving around. And I want to be available to Tony Khan at all times, which I am. It's a weird territory with fans coming into the dental office. Something you can't prepare. They didn't teach me that in dental school, how to deal with fans coming into my office. So we've had some weird situations. My staff, they're great with handling it. They really are, but it's you have to pick and choose those battles. So I actually don't take any new patients. It's all my old patients that I know are tried and true dental patients and not crazy fans in disguise.
So you still have passion in dentistry?
Oh yeah, I love dentistry. I love it. I love it.
So how are you balancing the two?
So it's really just planning as much as I can ahead. Days where I think I'm for sure going to be home, I'll schedule a day in the office and tell my dental assistant, hey, schedule me 4 patients this day or 2 patients this day.
That's really dangerous for pro wrestling because everything changes last minute.
I know. It's really, you have to make strongly educated guesses about what your schedule. There's absolutely no way I'm going to be needed anywhere on this day. And then those are the days where you're absolutely always needed. But you take the risk.
So I want to take it a little bit back to when you first started.
We've already went back to 2018, so I don't know how far back we're going.
Did you train with Candice LeRae?
I did, yeah. Okay. So I did my first. I would say my basic training in Pittsburgh at IWC Wrestling Academy, and then I wanted to keep learning. I wanted to keep. I was so hungry to learn more because I knew I could wrestle. I knew I was a decent wrestler, but I wanted to be great. I wanted to really learn more, and especially on the independent wrestling scene, you have to stand out. You can't. Headlocks aren't getting you booked on anything on an indie show, and this promotion called AEW in Cleveland was really getting a lot of buzz in the Northeast. It was a lot of flashy, lucha, all kinds of really cool stuff that I didn't know how to do, but I really wanted to learn how to do. And Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae had a training school in Cleveland, which I plugged it in my maps. It was 2.5, 3 hours with traffic. I was like, I can do that. And that's what I did. I would go 2 nights a week after dental school to Cleveland and back.
And I also heard Bella Twins was your big inspiration.
They were definitely a inspiration. I don't think I have a single inspiration, but I loved the Bella Twins. I actually went to a Comic-Con and paid to meet them because I have it on my phone somewhere, but I loved the Bella Twins so much. I think any female wrestler right now, if you can say the Bella Twins didn't inspire you in some way, you're lying. They're just superstars in the ring. They demand your attention. They were part of the start of the women's wrestling revolution. They laid down the bricks for girls like Saraya and Sasha and Mercedes, for those girls to walk on. You can look, but you can't touch.
I heard you're really interested in reality shows too, like Dancing with the Stars. One of the fans told me.
That's my favorite show of all time. I love it.
So you want to be in the show sometime?
Someday I would love to. I've prayed for this for a long time, so we'll see. We'll see if it happens. It's the only thing I ask for. I don't know why it's taking so long, but we'll see.
I think your career is so interesting. Injuries. It can break a wrestler.
Yeah.
Some of the wrestlers' career have never recovered since injury. When you got injured back in 2020, your popularity
it's the best thing that ever happened.
It increased.
Yeah.
People were really, really heating up for you during your injury, which is unheard of.
Yeah.
What was your mindset through that?
So I'd broken my nose during right at the start of the pandemic, and I got a little buzz from that just because I did the match with Sheeta where I broke my nose, and there was a camera shot of me just laughing with blood in my mouth. And I think that grabbed people's attention. And then I was really heating up. I just turned heel. Stuff was finally clicking. I was like, I think I can do this heel thing. I'm supposed to have a pay-per-view match. My first pay-per-view match as a heel. And the week of the show, I don't know, 3 days before, I break my leg. And they're like, obviously I'm not in the pay-per-view. And I was so upset. I was in the trainer's room, so upset, holding back tears. And Chris Jericho walks in and he's like, what's wrong with you? And I said, I broke my leg. I'm so upset. And he's like, well, why? And I'm like, what do you mean why? I feel like this is my time and now I'm being in a wheelchair. I broke my leg. And he says, no, it's still your time. Now it's just your time with a mic, so learn how to use it. And that was the best advice anybody ever gave me, because then I had to learn how to be good at promos, and I had to do it quick. And that's what I did, because I knew if I was given a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes TV time, I had to eat it up and hit a home run every time. Because the second people get bored of you, especially when you can't do anything physical in the ring, that's it. You're done. They're on to the next thing already. So that was really challenging to keep it interesting, but not being able to physically do anything.
So 2021 to 2022, your career was on fire. You know, all the way from AEW Women's Championship to PWI Women of the Year, Match of the Year, Most Improved. But one of my favorite things from that time was Waiting Room.
Oh, yeah, the waiting room. That was fun, yeah.
Do you ever think about bringing that back?
Yeah, that would be... So the thing with the waiting room is, what people don't realize is how much time that took to set up.
Oh.
It was during Daly's Place during the pandemic, and they had this whole set, which was amazing. Our crew is fantastic, and they whipped this out. It felt like overnight. This whole dental office set, but to actually put it up, and we were able to set it up on the ground away from the ring. But I don't know what. There would need to be some sort of logistics of how you could set that up and take it down in the middle of a wrestling ring, or I don't know. I don't know what the answer is to that. I'm sure it can be done though. If it can be done, the AEW crew would figure out a way. It just takes a lot of time. You gotta have the time. So I guess I have to convince Tony Khan that I'm worth that much time again, huh?
What was your favorite waiting room episode?
Ooh, what was your favorite?
My favorite, Sunny Kiss.
Sunny Kiss was with Joey Janela was great. The Acclaimed was great. Cody was great. Yeah. So Cody, we always used to rim Cody about his pyro, how it was like, it was a lot. It was a lot. You know.
Yeah.
It was a lot. And we said, oh, well, we have to make sure Cody has pyro coming into the waiting room. So we had sparklers, like 4th of July sparklers when he walked in the door as a rib. Reba still laugh about it.
Your popularity was so explosive at that point. The interesting moment was when Saraya came back, triumphant return from the career-ending injury. You did this one segment.
Yeah.
And the AEW crowd was fully on your side.
Yeah. I didn't expect that. I really didn't. Normally when you have something planned out in your mind for promo wise, you can predict a little bit how the crowd's gonna react, but I didn't predict that. And I guess because in a way I didn't know exactly I didn't know what she was going to say, but she went after their baby. She told me in front of an AEW crowd that because I've never been to WWE, I will never be a star and I don't have what it takes to be a star. She crossed the line. They were like, hold up. No, turn around, try that again. And they didn't like that. They were mad. And I think that for me was a defining moment of like, our fans are so loyal to the day one A1 squad. They will always have a soft spot in their heart for the AEW originals because they were a part of that growth. They were a part of the journey. They saw me on day one when I couldn't even hold a microphone, didn't know where the hard cam was, trembling backstage before I had like a 4-minute match to where I'm main eventing and being able to carry my own. They've seen that growth and they've been a part of it, and I think they appreciate it so much more.
From being in All In 2018 to walking in that All In 2023.
That I don't know that can ever be topped, just because it was such a wow, we did this moment. And the people that were part of the first All In, I think we'll always have a special bond. The ones that also were able to wrestle at Wembley, to think that we did this, like we helped create this mega monster where we just sold over 85,000 tickets or whatever the number was in Wembley. That's insane. That's unheard of. And if you would have told me that at the first All In, I would have laughed and said you're nuts, you're crazy. But it was very pivotal, and I think no matter what, that's always going to be a top moment. And I didn't win. I didn't lose either. But I think that's one of my favorite moments of my career.
Again, in 2021, 2022, AEW Women's Division was Britt Baker. Now, 2023 was a little different. It almost seemed like you took a back step. Was there any reason for that? Taking a back step from the spotlight this year?
Yeah. So I think with our very passionate fans, they're very vocal with what they want, what they don't want, what they like, what they don't like, and we listen. I listen. So if they are telling me they want more, less, or something, then okay, I hear you loud and clear. And a lot of them said we want less Britt Baker. So if that's what they want, okay, that's what they'll get. Let me take a step back. Here's the rest of the women. Someone else take the ball and run with it and make the women's division about you, and you be the face of the women's division. And when no one else can do that, I'll be there to pick up the pieces and do it all over again.
How do you think it's going?
You tell me.
You're also babyface. You're back to babyface right now.
I think it depends who you ask.
Oh, okay.
There's still a lot of people that hate me, and that's okay.
Okay.
It's good to be polarizing because there's someone always feels some type of way. I think if you were like a wrestling booker, I think you would say I'm a baby face. I think if you go cross the lines of like real life and social media, I'm a tweener. Yeah.
Let's talk about women's division. Yeah. Because there are so many talented women that people love. Always the complaint is we don't see them enough. There's always one women's match per show. You're one of the ones that the crowd got to learn and know about, but a lot of the women don't have that character or time to build their character. You really have to take advantage of every single second that you're given a camera, and you can't say no to promos. If someone says, we want you to do a promo, a pre-tape, the thought that any single girl would say no, I don't want to, makes me like shudder. It's so precious. It's precious time. You have to take advantage of everything. Do I wish there was more time for the women? Absolutely. But at the same time, the women, you got to be at your A game at all times. You got to be ready to step up when you're called on, because if not, you got to step right back down. I think everyone was really excited to see you and Jamie Hayter go somewhere with that. Yeah, I mean, Jamie got banged up, which is unfortunate because she was a great champion.
And she'll be back. I mean, we act like Jamie died. She's coming back. I don't know why everyone needs to chill. People get hurt in wrestling. Shocker. She'll be back. So excited for when that day comes. But fans need to be patient. You can't rush things like recovery.
Right.
Mentally, physically, when you need it, you have to take it, and that's that.
So when Jamie was in your entourage and she started getting wild reaction from the fans, how was it like to see that meteoric rise with the fandom?
I mean, that's literally everything I wanted. I handpicked Jamie to be by my side. Like literally went to Tony Khan, was showing pictures of her Instagram saying, I love this girl. I want this girl with us. Put her with me. Because I'd met her over in London when I wrestled her just on an indie show, and her and I clicked. We stayed in touch. It was fun to be the cheerleader, to be ringside holding up Jamie Hayter signs, getting the crowd to chant her name. That's a really fun, rewarding thing. It's fun when the fans chant your name, but when you're trying to get them to chant something else and they listen to you, that's cool because you're still controlling the crowd. You're just doing it for someone else. And then she didn't need help anymore.
What AEW is doing really great is that there's so many newer talent like Sky Blue, Julia Hart. They're killing it.
Yeah, I think especially Julia Hart. I would pick her as my favorite, my rookie of the year, I guess, just because it's a hard task. That character jump that she went from. When I wrestled her, I think it might have been one of her first, if not her first, matches on AEW. It was a Dynamite match, and I think it was like maybe 30 seconds. Maybe she was the cheerleader. The cheerleader, yeah. It's so weird, right? And now look at that, like this character that she is now, and that it takes a lot to really go all in on that. Because if they don't believe you believe what you're doing, you're not selling that to anybody. But she's all in on it, and her in ring has gotten so much better. But it's the character that's what's going to win the people over more, because you want them to care about your matches before you have the match. And if you can get that cross that bridge, that's half the battle.
You had already such a great career. You've been on the top of the mountain.
I should retire.
No, but my question is, what do you think is next for you?
AEW right now, there's a new vibe, a new era to it, and it's just kind of figuring out when and how I fit into that and taking over the women's division all over again. It takes patience.
Well, there's 2 titles. Which one are you?
I want both.
Oh, you?
Yeah.
Double champion.
At the same time.
Let's go for that.
Yeah, double champ.
That's the way to really peak it.
Right. Why wouldn't you want both? I don't want another champion. Like, I'm the champ and her. No, I want them both. I'm the champion. There's no other ones floating around out there.
I don't really ask this question to many people, but I think...
So why are you about to ask me?
Because you're so special.
Oh, okay.
I think you have a very special position to answer this question, that you have a job that my mom would love, dentist. Aww. And you also have a job that wrestling fan in me would love as a top wrestler in the industry. What advice do you have for fans that might already have something going on, and might think, is it too late?
It all comes down to really having a passion for something. If it's something you think you might want to do and you're going to half-ass it, it's not going to work out, because you're going to give up. The second something gets hard, you're like, I don't really want it that bad. And that's just you being honest with yourself, and that's okay, and that's fine. But if it's something you're really, really passionate about, you just find ways to make it happen. And it's what we said earlier, it's just taking that next step. When I was in dental school, all my classmates were studying for boards. Boards were 3 months away. Right. I am not looking at 3 months away. I'm looking at tomorrow when I have a quiz, an exam, wrestling training, going to the gym, and watching Raw. That's my next step. Let's get through tomorrow. We'll worry about boards as it comes closer. And I think that's such an important thing, that don't look too far in advance. It's great to have goals. Don't obsess with them, because that's too daunting. You really need to just focus on the now, what you can control, and the next step.
I brought something because I wanted to learn, because I feel like you have the best glove wearing skills in the industry.
Do.
So I brought a little plastic gloves.
Okay.
Could you teach me how to wear glove the D.M.D way?
Yes, I'll show you. If I don't have Reba there, which I love Reba, but I can do it on my own too. It's always in the boot, so you have to pull it out of the boot. Okay. So you pull it out of the boot. You gotta show everybody. They gotta know what's coming. Keep them wanting more. Okay. And then this is the part that is so hard on live TV, because your hands are sweaty. The glove's been crumpled up in your boot. It's so hard. People really underestimate how stressed I am at this moment in time when I have to pull the glove out. I swear, I'm not lying. This is as real as it gets. Okay. As much as you can, get your hands in there, and then open your hands wide. before you put it the whole way in, just at the base.
Got it.
Really stretch it.
Yeah.
That'll start to open it up for you.
Oh.
Right, and then you wiggle it. The first step is if you miss the first step, it's done. You're done for.
So really wide at first,
Yep.
and then put it in.
And then slide it down, and then you put your finger in the air. D.M.D.
Wait, D and
Yeah,
D.
don't worry. I used to mess it up all the time too. It takes a minute to know which way to go.
Okay.
Yeah, and there you go.
Well, thank you so much, Britt, for this interview.
Thank you.
What do you want to tell the fans that's patiently waiting for your supremacy again?
I would just say be like you said, be patient. When the time is right, I'll be there. But in the meantime, let's see who else makes noise.